first things I remember like a therapist telling me or reading in a relationship book, like, you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Your choice.
I want to be right.
Yeah. While I knew it, it wasn't something that I could fully incorporate into my life until I just kind of grew up a little bit. And I was like, you know what? Being right isn't that important.
It is one of the things that in relationships can be very detrimental.
Totally. One of my favorite books ever I read a couple years ago is called Being Wrong by Kathryn Schulz. I recommend it highly. And it just really kind of brought home that I'm actually wrong most of the time.
We had to go have breakfast or watch other people eat, and other people being his brother and his wife, where we talked about our living situation. We're staying at their cabin. So there were things that we needed to talk about, rent, how long we're going to be here, and just other family stuff. It did not go very well.
It did not. And I have to kind of take most of the responsibility for that, in that they had kind of presented some ideas and they just didn't sit that well with me. I mean, I do know why some of those things didn't sit that well with me, but I didn't process it well. There were actually like several nights before, like I couldn't sleep thinking about it. It was really bothering me. But then I sort of came to a certain resolve about where I stood. And then we kind of marched in there and I'm like, this is what I think, and this is what I feel, and this is what I need.
Our way was the highway.
Yeah. So much so that, in fact, there was basically almost like a capitulation on their part. Like, fine, if that's the way you need it to be, fine. I just don't want to deal with this anymore. And then I was like, oh, no. Like, that's not at all what I wanted. I didn't want a negotiation, so that was really important. But I also didn't want anyone to capitulate. Like, you know.
Yeah, we actually didn't get to hear their side. I think after we presented our way in the way that we did, they were just like, okay, you win.
Which extra frustrates me because that was actually something that I had really been holding as necessary. Like, make sure there's a space to listen to the needs of others. You know, I just finished reading Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, and I was like, oh, listening to the needs of others, like that's really important. I have to listen to my needs, but I have to listen to the needs of others. And then completely obliterated and forgot about that. And it's easy to say I can like blame that on the fact that I basically hadn't eaten for 7 days. But that's also just an excuse.
It is an excuse.
And maybe even less than an excuse, what it is a very clear sort of picture of a saying from the Marines, which is that you don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on your training or preparation. You know, just I'm not well trained in really listening and really hearing the other's needs and clarifying their needs, in even listening to myself and clarifying my own needs. So therefore, in sort of a situation where things weren't simple, you know, when the rubber hit the road, when I had to deal with a situation, as it were, well, now it's, you know, I fell back onto my habits, and there was no way to rise to that occasion.
So we got into the car and afterwards, and we just drove to their house.
And then another friend came with like some beer and cheese, and we just start kind of like chatting, and then we're all kind of having fun. We had to be like, hey guys, like we know we can't show up unannounced, and this is why. And we actually had to go through this whole like humble pie eating contest with a witness.
Yeah, in front.
How was that for you? Because to me, that was powerful.
To me, the whole experience was embarrassing. And then to do it in front of their friend there was like more embarrassing. But it was good because I feel like he was a witness to like my humble pie eating. But I was just like, I wasn't going to let that stop me either. I was just like, I'm going to do this. I'm committed in my life to clean up messes as I go, because I will create them. I'm human. I'll make mistakes. But I think like I'm committed to taking responsibility for things, for pain that I cause on to others.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's going to happen. But I cannot say it was comfortable. And I wish next time I want to leave the possibility that I'm actually never 100% sure. So there's a 50% chance that I might be wrong. And there's a 50% chance that I might be wrong. And
Wrong or wrong? I think
it's
a 100% chance you're wrong. That'll make life very easy for me moving forward.
Yeah, so there's a 50% chance of being right and wrong. Yeah. And I am open to being wrong or being right. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in and to this podcast where I was all wrong.
Yeah, welcome to the Interracial Couple podcast where I'm Sarah, I'm wrong, and I'm Matthew, I'm right. Look at that. And it even rhymes. It's perfect.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.